My God, it's actually so cold outside. Turn the car on. Turn the heat up, turn the heat up. What are all these lights? And before I start, you should know that I have a trusted adult sitting right beside me. And I'm carrying my partner right now, so I'm fine. Oh! Alright, so obviously that was an over-exaggeration, but you never know. If you don't check your car, you're never gonna know about imminent dangers that may come your way, which is why it is so imperative to check your car, whether it is daily, whether it is weekly, monthly, or yearly. And so today, me and my group are going to try to share some important information so when you get on the road, you know what to do. Alright, I'm gonna pass the mic on to Talha, and he's going to explain to you about some daily checks you should be doing outside of your car.
Oh, my bad, bro. So basically, every day before you step in the car, walk around your car, you're looking for dents, rusted parts, cracks in windows, scratches on the doors and lights. And while you're looking, make sure to peek your head under to make sure there aren't any cracks in the parts or leakage. Make sure your brake lights work, your tail lights light up when signaling to turn, your headlights work, low beam, high beam, and parking lights, and that the signaling lights can be seen on your headlights as well. You don't want to slip on the roads, right? Make sure to check the tires' air pressure, making sure it's not deflated, and check the tires' tread as well. The tread are these little deep gaps you see in the tire. A way to check is to put a penny in between the thread of Lincoln's head is covered. Otherwise, change the tire.
Thank you so much, Talha. Time to go to the car. Alright, so now I'm going to get in the car. Alright, so now I'm in the car, and before I even do anything, I need to make sure that I wear my seatbelt. And this is because we need to make sure that safety is our #1 priority, especially when we're driving. So if we, get in a dangerous situation, we don't go through the windshield. So now I have my seatbelt on, and I'm going to turn the car on and make sure that I don't see any warning lights on my dashboard. And what I mean by that is, if I'm just to turn the car on, not fully started, there will come these warning lights on your dashboard. So let me show you guys again. So look, there's some leakage, some low tire pressure, some, check your engine light. On this side, there's a light about, checking your radiator because your battery isn't being powered correctly. And you may be asking, why are these lights important? And the reason is because your lights is one of the most dominant ways to see if there's a problem with the internals of your car. Before we go into depth on your warning lights, we are going to be going into depth on what you should be checking when sitting inside your car. Now, when it comes to the distance from your body to the steering wheel, not only are your arms affected, your legs are also affected. As you can see, my knees are driving into the dashboard, which makes it hard for me to even reach the pedals. I can barely reach the pedals. And this is, of course, a safety hazard, because if you have to make split-second decisions like braking or, speeding up to avoid danger, it would be very hard to do so. And last but not least is your steering wheel height. Making sure we know how high your steering wheel should be so it's proportional to your body. And now I'm going to show you how to fix all of these. So now here are some possible solutions to make sure that your seating arrangement, your steering wheel arrangement is both safe for you and other drivers on the street. First off, the distance from the seat to the steering wheel, or in other words, the distance from yourself to the steering wheel. So I have a Toyota Sienna, meaning that I have electrical shifts, electrical levers that can help me push my seat forward or back, depending on where I adjust them. So a good rule of thumb is that you want to move your seat as far back, so so it is about 10 to 12 inches away from your body. You see how there's a slight bend compared to previously when I was completely bending and it was very hard to turn. So now you see it's very easy to turn. Alright, so now that I've moved the seat back, so I'm 12 inches away from the steering wheel, as well as my legs, my knees don't drive in the dashboard anymore. Now I can focus on the steering wheel. Now we should make sure that your steering wheel height, or how high it is, should be proportional to about your shoulders or a little lower, so it is touching the top of your chest area. So many cars nowadays have a lever like this. In my case, I have to push the lever down, which allows me to move the steering wheel up, down, or towards me or away from me, right? What you need to make sure is that your steering wheel is about your shoulder height from the top. So now that that's the case, I can, lock the steering wheel in place, put my hands at 10 and 2, and see that I am fine. Lastly, what you should be doing is looking at your reclining. Of course, this is usually based on preference, but your reclining should also help you see over the dashboard. In my case, of course, I can see over the dashboard right now, right? Because of how straight the reclining is. But I can already tell, even sitting here for 5 minutes, I can tell that my back is gonna get uncomfortable after about 10 to 15 minutes of driving. So what I like to do, I like to recline the seat back with this lever over here, right? With this lever over here, I can recline it back and have it so I'm a little more comfortable. And now you see my arms are straight now. So you also have to make sure when you're adjusting your reclining, you should always adjust the distance from the steering wheel as well. So it is 10 to 12 inches away with a slight bend on your arm. Also notice how I can see over the dashboard and see the hood of the car. Make sure you don't recline the seat so back that you can't see the road and the hood. A side note is that a lot of cars have different variations when it comes to such change. Of course, I have a car that has electrical levers, but sometimes cars can come with a lever by the driver's side, the bottom of the car, the bottom of the seat right here. There will usually be a lever where you pull it up like so, and you can move and shift the seat distance by shifting your body up and back like so. And also, in other cars, this electrical shift right here, which reclines my seat back or forward, is sometimes different in other cars, where there will just be a lever which you pull up like so, and you adjust the reclining by going back or letting the seat come to you by putting your body up a little bit. Before you even start driving, you should check your mirrors to make sure that you can see as much as your blind spot as possible. The purpose of your side mirrors is to be able to see as much of your blind spots as possible. And a good rule of thumb when it comes to your side mirrors is that you should be able to see as much as your blind spots as possible, but not so much where you can't see your car as well. So you see, I'm putting it at eye level, I can't see my car at all, right? And this is dangerous because you won't be able to see the distance between your car and other cars in tight situations. So in my car, at least, I have these buttons over here, right? Left means left side mirror, right means right side mirror. And these buttons right here help me adjust it. So if I was to move it towards the right, you can see that the mirror would turn right. And a good rule of thumb for the left side mirror, at least, is to move it so you can see the back door handle on the bottom right side of your side mirror. So I'm moving it right now. And now comes the right side mirror. And a good rule of thumb is to have the front passenger side door and its handle on the bottom left side of your mirror. Finally, your rear view mirror is arguably the easiest one to adjust, where you would adjust it so you can see as much of your rear view window as possible. And the reason you should check your mirrors before you even start driving is because it is important to see what is around you at all times. Because of course you're not always going to be looking behind you when driving. So you would have these mirrors right here for that case. And now that we know that, we can start driving. Yes?
Ayan, you told us about the warning lights, but how do we go actually fix them?
Oh yeah, you're right. So to get rid of your warning lights, what you want to do is check your hood to see if you are missing any fluid or you have too much of one fluid. So opening your hood can be different in the type of car you have. This car is a Honda Civic, meaning that its lever is actually right here to open up the hood. So you would have to just pull this open, of course. Before we even open the hood, as a safety precaution, many cars have a latch on the bottom of your hood, meaning you have to pull it to open. So for me, I'm just gonna have, there's a latch down here, so I'm just gonna have to push it up and open it like so. And some cars have a stick right here, so you can put it in your hood so it stays up. Many newer cars, of course, don't have that. Instead, they just stay up without having a stick. And we're going to be starting with the engine oil. So your engine oil can be checked with this dipstick over here. This dipstick comes out like so. Okay. When you take it out, make sure to wipe it down like so and put it back. And the reason is to see the level of oil on in your engine. So we're just gonna keep it in there and take it back out. And there's usually levels on this, right? These levels right here that indicate whether it is too low or too high. So you know, for me, soon I'm going to have to change the oil because it is a little low. Also, your engine oil color shouldn't be dark, shouldn't be very dark. And if it is, then you can empty it by going underneath the car, which of course I'm not going to show. Emptying it and using this right here. Usually you would go to a mechanic shop for that. Changing your engine oil is very important because your engine oil is what lubricates all the pistons and the moving parts in your engine. So if you don't have such lubrication, your engine is going to start wearing out and it's going to cause a problem in the long run when your pistons want to move, but they can't. They have a lot of friction on them, etc., etc. Next, we're going to be talking about the brake fluids over here, which I arguably think is the most important fluid because it is what stops your car, right? Now, if you see on the fluids, on the tube, there is going to be a max right here. This is max. There's sometimes a minimum too. If your brake fluids aren't in this container right here, then your brake would start, you know, vibrating because it's hard to push down. Or if there's too much, it would, you know, just slide all over the place and be very dangerous when it comes to making split-second decisions, which is why it's very important to change this out. Now, obviously, when you're driving, your engine tends to heat up. Because of that, we have something called an antifreeze / coolant / engine coolant. And the reason this is sometimes known as one of the most dangerous fluids is because when the engine is hot, fluid starts to bubble up. It starts to boil, right? Which is why it is recommended for you not to open this when the engine is hot. Why is that? If the engine is hot, that means this is going to create lots of pressure, about 16 psi, which is a lot of pressure of hot boiling fluids coming straight to your face and potentially causing third-degree burns. You don't want that, of course, right? So this is why you want your engine to be cold. Usually when it comes to changing this, you would go to a mechanic shop because they have the tools for this. You know, these are some of the tools they use for fixing such fluids. So the next type of fluid you should be worrying about is your window wiper fluid. Of course, this fluid is not gonna, you know, affect the internals of your car. More so, it's gonna help you better visualize and see the road if your window gets dirty. And so how to do it, of course, your engine should be off. you pull this up like so. And you see this is completely empty. You can tell right now if you look in the hole, completely empty. So what you want to do, you want to take a window wiper fluid bottle. A lot of these come in like different types, like all season, for example, is for all the seasons. Some of them are only for summer, some of them are mainly for winter. I got an all season one. So and now what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to put it gently. You don't need a funnel for this, just be as gently as possible. Don't force it to go in there. All right, so I just emptied the bottle, but usually what you should see some fluid come up. Okay, sometimes there's gonna be a max on your thing, on your tube that indicates how much you should actually fill it. Of course, mine ran out, but afterwards you should just close it like before, and you're good to go. Now my partner Liam is going to be talking about another important fluid.
The transmission fluid is checked by removing this little thing right here. That's the transmission fluid dipstick. It comes right here, up there, and there it is. You take that out of where it is, and you put it in this tube. I think it's this one is the transmission breather tube, where you take the stick, you put it in there, just like the oil, but just to check a different fluid.
The dipstick for your transmission fluid would be way longer, right? And you would do the same process of taking it out, cleaning it with a towel like so, putting it back in, and taking it out again and seeing if it's between the levels. You should also make sure that the colors aren't dirty and at least the amber color, and they don't have a strong stench to them. And the reason you should be changing out your transmission fluids is because your transmission fluid is what is responsible for smoothly changing gears. Unlike your engine fluid, which is responsible for the engine's pistons, your transmission fluid changes the gears of your car, making it smooth and amazing whenever you travel. Bye. God, I'm so done. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're done. Oh. Yes. So, the way you actually change your warning. So we just opened the hood, but for precaution, your hood also has a tab over here, which you have to therefore pull up towards yourself to open, like so. Like so. Like so, man.
Boom.